Hi, my name is Josh Matanen, and I'm here today to talk to you about why marijuana should be legalized. I'm going to give you a brief history of marijuana. I'm going to I'm going to tell you what it does to you, and I'm going to provide a counter argument to why it should be legalized. And I'm going to provide an argument to why it should not be legalized. I'm going to start with the history of marijuana. It is also known as cannabis sativa, and it was first marketed, and it came from Native Americans. It can be grown just about anywhere in the world, and Native Americans would use it as for medical purposes. They would use it in social settings, and they would use it to open up their mind. Marijuana was legal until 1906, where it first became regulated as a poison and increased restrictions began on it. By 1920, it was prohibited, and by the 1930s, it was completely illegal, and there were criminal penalties for using it or growing it. In the 1970s, by the 1990s, it was reinstated for medical purposes only, but using it besides that can hurt or can put you in jail, give you huge fines, or just give you many other legal problems. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what marijuana does to you. Marijuana increases your relaxation. It gives you uncontrollable laughter to bring you up when you're down. It gives you a deeper appreciation for music. It makes you hallucinate, depending on how much it is and depending on how high the dose of marijuana you're using. It also gives you a different outlook on life. It makes food taste really, really good. It makes it very easy to sleep. It's used for insomnia. It's used for terminal illnesses and/or people who are suffering certain types of pain. And finally, it helps you to ease your worries, concerns, or problems in life. It's also a short-term thing, so when you need it, it helps you to get rid of those problems right away. The cons are it decreases your cognitive abilities. It can decrease your long-term memory. When people aren't high, things won't be as fun as they were when you were high. It also happens with taking tests and your cognitive abilities. If you go out and you take a test high, you're gonna have to, or if you go out and study high, you're gonna have to take that test high because you're in the same state of mind. It gives you the munchies because it gives you the munchies. It makes you really hungry. It makes food taste really good, so it can add to your weight. Finally, when you're high, short-term memory is gone. You can't really remember what happened, and it depends on how high you really are. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about some things that marijuana can be used for and what it's good for and why I think personally it should be legalized. I'm going to start by telling you about, or I'm going to go off 3 points. I'm going to talk about the liberty, the cost, and I'm going to tell you about why prohibition does not work. To start, I'm going to tell you that it is our liberty. It's our right to smoke marijuana. Our constitutional fathers made the laws so that we could do what we wanted when we wanted and not have to worry about anybody looking over our shoulder and telling us what to do. Why are we allowed to drink but not smoke? Drinking is actually worse for you. It's addictive. It's physically and emotionally addictive. It can kill you. You can't overdose on marijuana. And marijuana is only addictive mentally. It's physical. It's not physically addictive. And alcohol can also impair your judgment more. And overall, depending on how much you drink, alcohol can kill you. I'm gonna go on to the next thing. I'm gonna tell you. My main point, the most important point to this is the cost. I'd say that keeping marijuana is very expensive. You people, all the taxpayers out there, pay tons of money to all these drug enforcement agencies through your taxes. These drug enforcement agencies are committed to keeping marijuana off the street, but why would we go out and spend all that money on marijuana when it's really not hurting the people around them? You have normal citizens. You have people who are just everyday workers, people who are perfectly good citizens using marijuana, and you have policemen going in and arresting them for using that marijuana. It's tons of money. They have to go through the court system. It takes tons of time, and it really hurts that person and also taxpayers around it. I'm also going to tell you that the taxpayers add for the added propaganda to it. They pay for all the signs up in the streets that the government puts up. They pay for all the commercials. That costs a lot of money, especially TV time. Finally, if marijuana were to be legalized, it would boost the economy. It would help all. If you tax marijuana, the revenues from marijuana would be huge. It would help to bring our economy out from the ashes and into a new light. You could open up tons and tons of new jobs. You could be farmers, you could be marketers, you could be salesmen. You could do everything with it. It would be a good idea to regulate it because marijuana's effects on a person, but at the same time, alcohol is also regulated. So, personally, I think it's a good idea. My final point is prohibition does not work. It's easily accessible. Anybody can get their hands on it. Children who aren't 21 could go to a drug dealer instead of going to buy alcohol and just get marijuana, because the drug dealers don't care how old the person is. They just want to make their money. They're trying to sell it. Because these people are going to drug dealers, the drug dealers can hook them on more addictive drugs. They can say, here, try this, try some crystal meth, try some cocaine, something that's much, much worse. The marijuana can hurt you. Doing this can hurt you. The marijuana can hurt you if it is laced with another drug from the drug dealer. It all depends. You can't trust them. If it was regulated, if it was given out by a good salesman, then you wouldn't have to have any worries with it being laced or them giving you other more harder drugs. I'm also going to give a counter argument to this. I'm going to say that marijuana can be psychologically addictive. Your body doesn't need it, but your mind will, and you'll start to believe that you need it just to make you feel happy or make you feel better. It is linked to other narcotics like heroin. Also, it's been banned for a long time, so why legalize it? Why should we go through all the trouble right now? My final point on why it's a bad thing is it's associated with a bad lifestyle. We look at it as people who don't have jobs, people who it's marketed as how hippies lifestyles, the people who just want to be free and don't worry about anything else. I'm going to finish this off by saying that even though there's many counter arguments that can be given, I feel that the good outweighs the bad. I feel that most importantly, it can really boost our economy, it can really help us, and it can get us out of a great debt. Also, I feel that it's our liberty to smoke marijuana. I think that we deserve to be allowed to do what we want to do. Finally, prohibition is not working. Marijuana is still very accessible, and we are paying good money to have big drug enforcement agencies out on the streets trying to bring down criminals, but also people who are perfectly good citizens who just choose to smoke. I'm going to finish this off for you guys. With what I said earlier about alcohol and its effects, and if you go back and you look at prohibition and what happened with the alcohol back then, you will see that it can be somewhat similar to what's happened with marijuana. And I'd say that marijuana is a drug that can really help people, can really help society. And I think that if alcohol is legalized, then why not marijuana? I'm going to finish my speech with that. And so thank you for listening and have a great day.